there's so many defects in this paint.
This is called the W.O.W method.
Hi, I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
And this is DIY Detail. By W.O.W, we mean a wool one-step with wax. And what we'll be doing is a one-step polish using the gold standard polish, the 25mm dual action machine, and our wool pad. Now people say, a wool pad, that's for cutting. Well, it can also be for finishing. Our wool is designed to do both.
We have 4 pads in the lineup.
Right.
We're gonna simplify this with a dual action machine,
Yeah.
the wool cutting pad, and our gold standard polish. I one step with this combination all the time.
Right.
In fact, this is a dirty pad, it needs to get clean. We'll show you how to clean. We'll show you how to use the wool pad. We'll show you how to do it with the DA. Ivan, what else are we gonna show them?
We're gonna show them how to be effective, how to be quick, and how to get a great job. This paint has a lot of damage to it, and there's no way we're gonna bring it back to perfect. There's a scuff mark there that, you know, they hit a curb at some point. There's a lot of issues going on here. The customer just wants to sell his car. And the way it was looking when he brought it in here, not many people would be enthused about buying it. There's a video down below. You'll see us washing and decontaminating the car and what did it look like when it came in. Now, it's actually pretty presentable, but we're gonna step that up a lot.
The only place where there's still water spots that I can tell is on the hood here and on the glass. If you're looking to go after water spots, you always want to decontaminate and use our water spot remover first. It's actually a mineral cleanse. What it leaves behind, we can polish, but if we didn't use that step, we'd actually be driving the minerals into the paint. They will resurface as water spots later. We don't want that. So we've done all the prep work correctly, and then the next step is a test spot. Often I will do a test spot. I'll use the least aggressive method first, it'll make it shiny, but I'll find that the wool pad with our gold standard polish not only removes defects, but leaves it shiny. So a lot of times, Ivan, I end up just reaching for this combination. Now, it's a little more aggressive than the yellow pad,
Yeah.
so we don't want to use it all the time.
No, we don't want to use it all the time, but we know in this case, we want to be as effective and as efficient as possible, and that's how we're going to achieve that. We've measured the paint thickness. The average is about 110 microns, so not too bad, but still it's on the verge of not being great. And there's so many defects in this paint. We can see bug etching. We can see little divots everywhere. We can see deep scratches, water spotting, you name it, it has it. We're gonna mitigate as much of that as possible, safely, easily, and quickly.
I've got our wool pad DA and gold standard polish, of course, just one spray.
Yeah.
Lightly damp pad with the rinseless wash dampened pad as we teach. What speed, what technique are we encouraging folks to use here?
Speed 2 to 3, no pressure on the machine. Let the tool do the job and just glide across the surface.
Now, Ivan, on speed 2.5 here, I'm still seeing a little etching of water spots in there, and I'm wanting to keep going until I see everything disappear.
That's where the wax will come in. It'll help fill that in.
Ivan, I was kind of doing my overlapping passes, nice and slow. You're doing 45-degree angles in here. What are you doing?
So, I have a body shop background. When you're trying to sand something like this, and same thing with compounding, when you're trying to do a curve, you actually get more contact when you're going on an angle.
So I was going like this and you were kind of going like this?
Yeah, so for me, So if you look at the width of my contact patch, it's the full width of the pad. How wide are your contact patches?
Well, as I went over like right here, you see it's only about this wide.
Right.
So here it was good, but then here it was like only this wide. So I guess if I was, that's the full width of the pad right there.
Right. So more work is being done. And if you go to, now you're going up and down, if you go to 45-degree angle, you get even more.
So I was going this way and then.
No, you were literally doing this.
Okay. I'm doing this. And so
Yeah.
you're like this.
Even more exaggerated, yeah.
What I love about working our wool pad on speed 2 to 3 is it actually gives you lots of working time. When you increase the speed, when you increase the pressure, your pad's gonna clump up because you're removing a lot of clear coat very quickly. Some might say we want to remove a lot of clear coat quickly. Ivan, what say you?
Nick, I don't want to remove a lot of clear coat quickly. It's plastic, and if you create heat, you soften that plastic. And when you soften the plastic, your abrasives do all sorts of things they're not supposed to be doing. So we've definitely amped up the gloss. There's still some watermarks in there. There's still some scratches. And they're gonna continue to be there. We'd have to basically destroy this paint in order to make it better.
I mean, I would be wet sanding this to get rid of these water spot etchings, and that is a pro move that can be incredibly dangerous. So it's like pro risks.
It's too much of a risk for everything because you're wet sanding, you're removing paint. Paint is a finite resource. You remove it, you're damaging the vehicle. Sanding it is damaging the vehicle. Now, something that just came from a body shop, it's a show car, of course you're gonna sand it. I've sanded many cars, but a factory paint, no, don't sand it.
So this panel we haven't compounded yet, and you see all the light, see all the scratches around it? Let's go over here. And you see how shiny that is? There's still deeper stuff in here, but it's easy to forget. We have short memories. Over here, lots of scratches, lots of scratches. Remember, we're using a polish and speed 2, nothing crazy. And you're gonna see most of those gone. So what's left here, as Ivan mentioned, we are going to cover up with some wax. We're gonna hide, and we're gonna remember that from 5 feet away, this paint will look stunning.
When the polish starts bunching up like this, we're done working. So when it starts separating from the surface, that means it's done, it's not doing anything more, time to move on. We can definitely see a difference here between the fender that I just wiped off and the door that hasn't been touched. There's a slight gloss difference, and the depth of the black is there. So we'll carry on. One of the reasons I often get done before Nick, notice the distance between me and my cart. Nick was just polishing at the back and his cart was up here. His wheels, for some reason, are locked. They don't tend to move a lot. So unlock your wheels, your cart might be closer to you and you get done a little faster.
That makes a little too much sense, Ivan.
Yeah, logic is a weird thing. You notice I put polish directly on the paint, not something we normally do, but in this little arch, in this little sharp line, it's difficult to get in there and get the polish in there. So by putting the polish there and then rolling my pad into it, now I know I have polish on the edge of my pad and I'll be able to polish in that sharp crease. Of course, you could always go and buy a specialty polisher just for that, but you really don't need it.
Ivan likes to wipe his polish off as he goes. I like to save mine until the end. There's no wrong way to do it. The reason I do this is I get a little distracted sometimes, and when I see the polish residue on the panel, it lets me know I've done that section, and I can move on to the next section. I just color in between the lines essentially, and when I'm all done and the vehicle's full of polish residue, it's the rewarding time for me. I get to use my rinseless wash dampened towel, watch it cut through the polishing oils with ease. Let Mother Nature do a bit of the work. Let it dry out almost entirely, and then take my Freebird 400 with no effort whatsoever. I'm not shaking the car because I'm digging into the panel. No, this is a super simple wipe off. If you're struggling with that second towel, you're probably wiping too soon. So let it pretty much dry on the paint for you, and it will be buttery smooth for this wipe off. This paint is ready to get protected, but it already looks so shiny. A vast improvement. Wow.
Now, to amp up the gloss, we could use one of our wax sealant and coating applicators and do it by hand, but why do it by hand when you have a machine?
What are you doing over there, Ivan?
Applying the wax.
With a dual action polisher?
Yes, sir.
The same one we use to polish.
Yep, but very different pad. This is our 1.25 inch thick red finish pad. Also great at applying wax and C6 adhesion promoter polish. Yes, I'm waxing the trim. Perfectly safe with our wax. Now, we want to leave the wax as thin as possible. And actually, the 25mm machine does a great job at doing that. 2 little drops. And remember, I'm not polishing with this, I'm applying the wax. I don't have to go over it several times. Twice just to make sure I've covered everywhere and I'm good. All the upper surfaces are done. Another little drop or two of wax. I'll go around the bottom of the vehicle. Bring the wax with me because probably by the time Nick is done wiping off his side, I'll be able to start waxing that side too.
How often do you reapply show-winning wax to a red pad on a polisher as you're going?
As needed. So there's no real set formula because every paint is going to react differently. So as the paint is absorbing it, I can see it. And when I'm not leaving a trail behind me, that's when I add a couple more drops.
And I'll just do a little tire lotion. So when we wipe it all off, it'll look nice.
Now, one thing I'm going to do to help Nick out is I'm going to apply the wax to the pad.
It's a nice smelling wax. It's easy to forget. The fragrance makes you feel good. And
Yeah.
it's part of the experience. So speed 2?
Speed 2, off you go. Nick, ready to wipe off.
Is that Nick's favorite wax removal towel?
It sure is, the Mr. Twister, AKA Nick's favorite glass towel, Nick's favorite app towel, Nick's favorite wax towel, just Nick's favorite towel.
It's a great towel. Very versatile. The same things that make it great at cleaning windows help it kind of bite into the surface in a real safe way and remove that wax. How long should they wait, Ivan, before removing the show-winning wax?
So far we've waited about 10 minutes. That's how long it's taken me to apply. And it's coming off nicely because we put it on nice and thin.
How many drops would you say we used on the red pad?
Total of about 15.
Let's talk about filling. What is the wax doing to the surface in terms of filling scratches?
Well, it's leaving wax behind in those scratches, making it optically feel or look like they're fixed. But they're far from being fixed. But for the time this is for sale, for the photographs, for Facebook Marketplace, it's gonna look spectacular.
So we're not cheating the system by filling scratches temporarily?
No, a lot of people do that. You know, before show, it's a great thing to do. Obviously this vehicle's for sale, so that's gonna help the gentleman sell it. But at the same time, we know that before we put the wax on, it was looking great as well. We're just giving it a little extra pop with the wax.
Yes, we are, Ivan.
We
Yes,
didn't
are.
just fill and hide. We actually did remove a lot of the imperfections. Now, if your wax is difficult to remove, there's a few solutions for that. One is wait a little longer. It'll make it easier. The longer you wait, the easier it is to remove. The next one is use a rinseless dampened towel. Very, very lightly, quickly go over the surface, buff it dry, and you'll be fine.
What about the method where you think you've discovered a solution, which is NV ceramic sealant?
Yeah,
to
that
cut
works as
through
well.
the leftover wax, because I've done that before. The only thing is you told me, you're like, well, you're basically using NV to cut through the wax, which degrades the wax, right?
Yeah.
So it will make the wax residue easier to remove, but then you're kind of killing the wax a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. But you're leaving NV ceramic sealant on the surface, making it actually a longer lasting surface.
So you'll have protection. It's just, there's something about the glow of a wax, folks.
Yeah.
Which we know is temporary, which we know fills scratches. There's a time and a place for its beauty, for its glow.
And you know, the nice thing about the show-winning wax, you can do this outside, even on a sunny day.
I'm always wowed by the paint after we wax it. Because I've been here for the whole journey. I saw this before we touched it with a polisher,
Yes.
before we washed it, and it wasn't pretty. And in a short amount of time, we made it pretty.
Yeah, we made it into a vehicle that you'll turn around and go, wow. As you're parking it somewhere and leaving it in the parking lot, you'll turn around to stare at it one last time. But definitely amped up the gloss, got rid of that grayness that it had. Now it's a little black beauty. So Nick, there's dressing on the tires, there's wax on the paint, there's dings, there's scratches, there's dents, but wow, what an improvement.
Wow is the perfect word for it. You know, Ivan, the last time we took black paint and we did a one-step polish on it and
Right.
put wax on it, the vehicle sold within a day.
Yes.
So if you want to see us do this again, but with a red pad, so the dual action polisher and just the red pad in gold standard polish, we didn't need to get as aggressive with the cut, the glow, probably even richer. You can watch that process, which is a lot less aggressive, so you could do it way more often right here.